Hey everyone, hello and welcome, Tony Bing here. For this test centre video I'm happy to say that I'll be having a look at Hawkeye. The reason being, on the 11th of January there, he had quite a lot of changes made to him, which is really good. It's something I didn't expect at all, so I was very happy about that. A bit apprehensive about all these changes because I was working for a good part of today and I didn't have time to get on, and I was reading the test centre feedback and starting to worry a bit. But having played around with them now for just over an hour or so, I can see some builds starting to come together. It does appear to be a bit of bar bloat with some of his builds, and I find the talent line number 5 really quite underwhelming. But other than that, I'm quite impressed with what they've done. I'm loving what they've done with trick arrows, and I'm seeing quite a lot of options there. But enough of me kind of rattling on here. Let's break this video down into the usual sections we'll go for. We'll cover both the skill trees first very quickly because they're very similar, and then we'll go into the talents and traits where things have been mixed up quite a lot. So here we go. Let's look at Master Bowman first. Now straight off of this tree we'll notice quite a big change. We have Serrated Arrow, and it still does have the basic tag. It now has the chance to fire an additional arrow, 20% chance, and a 10% chance to fire another arrow on top of that. So it's got the chance to fire either 1, 2 or 3 arrows. It has a 50% critical and brutal damage, and Michael Mayhem advised on the forums that although it does have the basic tag, it doesn't have the penalty to damage that normally comes along with a basic attack. So that's absolutely fantastic, and it basically makes our spirit issues non-existent, which is really good. It does make one talent possibly not as useful as it used to be, but I'm not really going to complain too much at all. It is our only spender now, which again, reading the forums today, I was initially a bit worried, but it's far more responsive than our old spender, the 3 arrow burst, which I'll show you. And before we actually do that, in fact, I'll show you the fact we've now got acrobatic roll back. So we'll show these 2 skills off here. I've got Lucky Pizza Dog there as well, of course. So we fire away, and there we go. There's no real delay the way there used to be when you were using 3 arrow burst with the animation. I did definitely find that there was a split second when you had a skill to roll that you weren't actually moving, so that's good. Very happy with that change there. So we've covered these 2 anyway. I quickly talked about acrobatic roll there. But next up we have rocket arrow. The same idea here, that you'll charge it up for bonus damage. It has a bonus critical hit chance. The cooldown is 4 seconds, which I suppose it's nice if you want to kind of be more active as Hawkeye. For me, with the rest of his build, I now struggle to fit it in a little bit, because if I'm using, I'll generally lay down my area of effect dot, and then I'll start running through, which is generally an 8-second rotation, and when I have a 4-second skill it throws me off a little bit. It's a bit like Hulk hand arrow on Deadpool. I do use it, but I find it makes my rotation a bit more complicated, and I do like to keep things simple. Next skill anyway, it's Boomerang Arrow, and similar to Rocket Arrow, this has now got a 4-second cooldown on it as well there. And then we have Wave Arrows. This just operates the same as it does on live. It's got the slow there. I really do like this particular skill for clearing trash. And then we have Flash Bomb. This is the same as the last iteration. 25% bonus damage, invisibility of 3 seconds, cooldown of 12 seconds. Quite nice, but I do struggle to fit it into a rotation because of the 12-second cooldown, especially if you're maybe using Rocket Arrow or Boomerang Arrow, which are 4 seconds, then you're using another 8-second skill, and then you get the 12-second one. It all gets a bit sloppy, and I start hitting the wrong keys if I try and use a build like that. But next up in this tree anyway, we've then got Speed Loader Volley, which I do like. This is a skill he gained with his last big rework around about the time of the Age of Ultron release. I do like this one, and this has a 8-second cooldown, so nothing's really changed, and it also has a 50% damage reduction while you're channeling it as well. The final skill in this tree is Elusive Arrow. Just operates the same as it did before on the last test centre iteration. So let's now have a look at the trick arrows. These have changed quite a bit here, and 3 arrow burst has actually been moved over to this tree as well. First off then, we have a look at electric arrow, and you'll notice down the bottom of the tooltip there's the new writing. So when you use a trick arrow such as this, electric arrow, you will gain electric trick arrow heads, and this means when you use certain skills which are highlighted in blue, rocket arrow and or boomerang arrow, they will fire off one of the electric trick arrowheads. That was all quite hard to say after a long day at work and a late night, but I think I managed to get there. Next up anyway, for the trick arrows we have explosive arrow. This is still doing your vulnerability there, and similar to the last trick arrow, you use this and then you can use rocket or boomerang arrow to proc it. And then we have the same idea with freeze arrow. Again, also has vulnerability. Bit strange to see it on 2 skills. I'm not sure if that's a tooltip error there, because generally this just used to offer the slow and the freeze, and as mentioned before, you'll gain the freeze and trick arrowheads which you can proc off rocket arrow and boomerang arrow. Now nerve gas arrow is no longer a trick arrow skill. It still does weaken. I believe this was possibly changed for the fact that because it's a dot, you would fire this off, and when it was ticking it just kept replenishing your trick arrows all the time, so it does make sense, that change. We then have Start Tech Medical Arrow, which is certainly a very nice skill, applying protected and rapid healing. Whether or not you can find space in your bar for it, I'm not too sure, but it is a nice skill, and in certain content it may be worthwhile dropping a damage layer just so you can get this in there. Now we then have Free Arrow Burst, changed, I was going to say quite a bit, it's changed a ton really. This was previously a spender. When it was a spender you had the 20% chance to crit on it, which I was disappointed to lose, but again, when we're talking about serrated arrow earlier on, it allows us to sort of spirit problems, and it's really responsive, so I think the trade-off is worth it. I mean, it's an interesting skill as well actually. Now with it now, it's a 4-second cooldown, and it will fire off a freeze arrow, an electric arrow, an explosive arrow, which is pretty good. You can imagine Hawkeye quickly going into his quiver and just grabbing one of each arrow and firing them off, so thematically I certainly do like that. Now next up here anyway, we've got Shrieking Arrow. Operates the same as it does before. It's a taunt, it's got your 8-second cooldown and a 3-second timer on the explosion on it there. And then we're finishing up with Stark Tech Claymore Turret, a signature. Nothing's really changed on this. 6-second duration, quite a high 35-second cooldown, but we can pull that down through talents. And on the subject of talents, let's have a look at them now. First off then, we'll look at the actual traits. Nothing's really changed here. He still has the Archetype Strategist, given as a bonus to fighting and intelligence, which at the moment really are the 2 best attributes you can have. It's giving you the crit damage rating and crit rating as well, their bonus. And then we have, let's see, well in fact before we move on, sorry, we have the crit hit chance of 3% as well on that. But next up we have Combat Training. So the Archetype is nimble, and we gain a bonus to both deflect and dodge rating there. And his resources changed a little bit. Trick Quiver, so as it says, trick arrow powers generate trick arrowheads when activated, which cause your next rocket arrow or boomerang arrow to trigger a free copy of the trick arrow. So all self-explanatory given what we've discussed in the last section with the trick arrows. Talent wise, we've got Can't Miss. This is the same as the last iteration, and it provides a rather hefty 10% flat critical hit chance to non-trick arrow skills. So that would be your basic here. Well, I was about to list the ones it would be. It's essentially, it's not electric arrow, freeze arrow or explosive arrow, it's all the other ones. That's a much quicker way to explain it. The next skill in this line, Muscle Memory, and when you activate a trick arrowhead effect you gain 10% of your maximum health and 10% of max spirit. It's pretty nice. I personally don't feel that many builds will need it. It will possibly be good whilst leveling, and also for new players that maybe don't have a lot of infinity points or don't have the best gear, so it's an alright option there. And then we have Trident Arrowheads. So this has changed completely from the last time. And with it, Serrated Arrow, Wave of Arrows and Speed Loader Volley gain a small chance to trigger trick arrowhead effects. I'll actually activate it so we can see the... does it say in the tooltip? In fact it doesn't. That's interesting. It doesn't say in the tooltip what the actual chance for them to activate is, but in testing it's relatively consistent anyway. But talent line number 2, which I'm happy to kind of say, and I'm sure a lot of players, well, I say a lot of players, probably the number of players that play Hawkeye is small, the number of players that play melee Hawkeye is even smaller, but there'll be players that'll be happy to see this added. So with combat training, Serrated Arrow, Acrobatic Roll and Free Arrow Burst transform into the melee equivalents. So we can see them running Assault there, running Lunge there, and there we go there, Crippling Kick there. So it's good to see that back. It is quite basic, but it's at least good to see that an effort was made to bring it back for the Hawkeye melee players, or Kick-Eye players as they're called. Next talent anyway, it's Speed Draw. So Speed Loader Volley now fires 3 times more arrows that pierce enemies at half damage. This is the same as the last iteration. And then we finish up this line with Make 'em Count. And same as the last iteration, Trick Arrowhead effects deal 30% more damage. Trick Quiver Arrow powers gain 100% damage, and they generate 2 arrowheads on an 8-second cooldown there. And talent line 3, we've got Phosphorus Flashbang. This is the same as before, so this will make Flashbang last 1 second longer, increase the damage by 25% up to 50, and it generates 2 random trick arrowheads when activated. It's certainly a very nice damage bonus. I do find that I struggle to fit it into his bar with the few skills, the few spaces that we actually have for skills, but I'm sure if you were desperate enough you could drop a skill and you would make up from the damage you gain and from the steroid on it. Next skill in this line anyway, it's Extra Impact. So this is a new one. Free Arrow Burst generates 2 random trick arrowheads when activated, and it also gains 2 charges as well. There it says +2, and you would think the fact it already has a charge would make it free, but on tooltips such as this it means it's 2 charges in total. It could maybe be a little bit clearer. But the third and final talent in this line is Thread the Needle. So Rocket Arrow charges up instantly, which is a nice change. It allows us to just tap it and fire it off without having to channel it first. Damage goes up by 50%, and with Boomerang Arrow the max charges go up, and Boomerang Arrow damage goes up as well there. Moving on to talent line number 4, we start off with Automated Quiver. So once every 3 seconds automatically generate a trick arrowhead and the last trick arrowhead you've used. Bit different. I have played around with some builds and I've actually found it quite useful, so it is an interesting talent. I do like this one. Next up in this line anyway, we have Streamlined Model. So what this does is it pulls the cooldown of Stark-Tech Claymore down by a whopping 20 seconds. The duration does come down from 6 seconds to 4, but it means that it's on a 15-second cooldown, which is the lowest signature in the game. I believe there might be a few other heroes that match 15 seconds, but certainly none that get any lower than that. And then we have Gemini Turret Arrow. So Serrated Arrow's chance to fire additional arrows are doubled, and when you use Stark-Tech Claymore Turret, the chances increase to 100% for 6 seconds. I'll activate this so you can see it. So it goes up to 40% chance to fire an additional arrow, 20% chance to fire 3 arrows in total there. And then we have talent line number 5. This is a skill a lot of people like, but I can't get a feel for it at all. It's Overwhelming Force. With this, Wave of Arrows transforms into Overwhelming Force, and it fires 1 of each trick arrow, and as well as a Shrieking Arrow, and it now fires a Nerve Gas Arrow on top of that as well, but it has to hit a target for the actual Nerve Gas Arrow part of it to do the explosion. I'll fire it off to show you what I mean by that. So let's say we fire it down here. There we go. We can see the Shrieking Arrow but no Nerve Gas Arrow. If I move over to an actual target and fire it off, there we go. We can see the Nerve Gas Arrow work. That kind of takes down the utility on it a little bit for me, because I did have an idea how to use it in a build, but because it does that, unfortunately it doesn't really work out for me. Next talent anyway is Moths to the Flame. So Shrieking Arrow deals additional damage over time, and the cooldown is pulled down by 4 seconds. So that could potentially work if you're maybe building it into a build that's using Boomerang Arrow, rocket arrow, or even the free arrow burst with the full second cooldown there. And then final skill we have reposition, or final talent even, we have reposition and re-engage. So with this, same as before, elusive arrow gains a 10-second cooldown and activates flash bomb and shield med kit. So this could be very interesting used along with this. I was playing around and you can get a build where you're invisible for a large duration, but as a result of that you're having to drop quite a few active skills, but it means you have the 50% damage bonus for quite a high uptime and you're also invisible as well. So that could maybe work out as a particular build. So it was good to have a second look at Hawkeye, the first iteration. I was really a bit disappointed, but I'm happy with the changes that have been made. There's a lot of options out there that I'm running through my head for different builds. I can maybe see 3 or 4 different builds that would be possible with them. Now, just at the end of this video on the subject of builds, when it comes to build videos, once the update goes live, I'll be doing a Hawkeye video first, maybe, and then follow up, I think possibly with Deadpool and then Blade. They're my most popular characters, and they're the characters that I really do enjoy at the end of the day as well, so it's good that it tallies up that other people enjoy them and enjoy the guides I've done for them. Now, on the subject of the guides, this is where it gets a bit kind of interesting now. I want to do guides for as many heroes as I can because I do enjoy coming up with builds. Now, in order to do that, if I was doing 20-30 minute videos covering every aspect of a character, such as all the different gear, the artifacts, the synergies, the infinity system, I would obviously get through a lot less guides. Do people want to sit there for 30 minutes and watch a guide as well? I'm not too sure myself. So one of the ideas I did have was mainly really concentrating on skills and the guides, so doing quick guides and doing them a run over the skills and talents I would use. Now, my kind of rationale behind this is, the first one I was saying is what I want to do shorter rather than longer videos, that way I can cover more characters, because I do have fun branching out and looking at different builds and other characters. But I also feel with the skill points being dropped from artifacts and being dropped from uniques, the two are no longer kind of linked as much as they previously were on live. Previously on live, if you ran a very certain build with very certain skills, you would need to use very specific gear in order to buff those particular skills and get the skill points up to 50. We no longer have to do that. Now, I also have the bonus as well. If I just concentrate mainly on skills, when new artifacts and so on come into the game, I won't have to redo the video, which will then slow me down from doing any other kind of content videos such as costume previews or test centre previews and so on. And the kind of final thinking I had here that hopefully supports this format of video is, with all heroes now having the archetype, meaning they gain a damage bonus from either, well, in Hawkeye's case fighting intelligence, but from either of the 6 attributes, a lot of times when you're picking gear, you're actually just going to be picking the gear that offers a bonus to your attributes. Not all the time, of course, because you want to be hitting kind of certain thresholds of diminishing returns with crit hit rating, brute hit rating, attack speed and so on, so you will itemise for them, but by and large you are going to be itemising for your actual attribute, which should make gearing a lot more kind of, it should be a lot more sense as to what gear you should be putting on your character, because it's going to be defined by what attributes are on that piece of actual gear there. So hopefully this all made sense. I was kind of running it through in my head as I was talking over it here, but hopefully it made sense to you guys. Let me know what you think of the idea of me doing more builds more frequently for more characters and focusing really on the actual build, on coming up with a nice, simple, good to play rotation, one that has utility, such as you've got your trash clearing skills still in it, you've maybe got some CC skills and things like that. So let me know in the comments below of what you think of that particular video idea. Thanks for listening to me during this video. It's a bit of a longer one because I've had a lot to cover, and I appreciate all your support, and I'll see you all again soon.